Welcome, everyone. I'm Spiros Kyriacopoulos from the organizing committee of the Open Conference. It is such a great honor to have with us today Chris White, who is an honorary speaker at this year's Open Conf event that will be held on the 15th of December.
Very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us as a speaker at this year's Open Conf. Chris, you are the president of NEC Labs, which is a very important US-based research center focusing on AI, machine learning, and integrated systems. Please tell us about your work there, the lab's mission, and your vision for the research center.
Yeah, so we're the American portion of NEC's global laboratories. So we have about 100 researchers spread across California and Princeton, and our two different locations, focusing from physical layer, optical networking, wireless networking, to understanding and sensing of data, so machine learning, to the sort of applications and systems that allow us to actually utilize those technologies. And as I will talk a little bit during the conference, our vision really is about automating and making the world both more efficient and more receptive and more reactive to humans. So can we actually optimize the way we do things? And that requires that we can sense the world. It requires that we can understand what we're sensing, and then we need to actually be able to take action. So all the things that we do inside the labs are really focused on the big challenges in sensing, understanding, and action that are inhibiting us from doing things today. Right? Real disruptive innovation that allows us to open up new markets to really address human needs on a scale that we couldn't do previously.
Wow, this is an important research for humanity. But let's go back in time a little bit, early in your career. Bell Labs, by many considered the mecca of technological research during the 80s and 90s. Tell us about your experience there, working with all these great minds, and how it shaped you as an individual and as a professional.
Yeah, I will say I joined as president of NEC Labs barely 2 years ago, right in the middle of COVID, unfortunately, after 22 years at Bell Labs, from a researcher to a manager to basically running a lab at the very end. I came into Bell Labs, I'm trained as a quantum chemist. So I came in as a very fundamental scientific person. Mm-hmm. The story I often tell is my first day in the office. I went into my new boss's office and he said, "We have another quantum chemist, go do something else." And I said, "Well, what else should I do?" And he said, "Something useful." So most of my time at Bell Labs was spent trying to find and do something useful. And in the context of being in an environment that had so many amazing people that basically you felt like you were inferior, right? Did you belong inside of that concept? And really through my career, what I tried to do was learn everything I could from the people that were around me, how they thought about things, how they addressed problems, how they actually could really understand things that I didn't understand when I first came out of school, but learned over time, how to understand that relevance of human need to big challenge that we want to remove to getting to a point where we can actually solve problems that are critically important to, allowing us to do things that we couldn't do before. So my time there, I really enjoyed. And again, the growth of being around lots of like-minded people trying to do new and innovative things was just a great opportunity.
Truly amazing, truly amazing. What can I say? So you also have visited Greece a couple of times, right? How was the experience interacting with, when you were in Nokia? So how was the experience interacting with the Nokia team here in Greece? And what's your opinion of, and suggestions, I guess, to young students that you met in Greece and various research facilities?
Yeah, so I will tell you, during my time at Bell Labs, I was invited to a lot of places. And I traveled around the world in many different things. But I really fondly remember my time in Greece for a couple of different pieces that I think are really interesting. So one, all the people that I met were friendly and nice, and it was just an amazing time, just from a location perspective.
Thank
But more than that, the Nokia team was a team of, I hesitate to say young, but it was a young team. It was a group of people that you could just feel the energy. And they not only did their job, they actually reached out, right? They made connectivities into the ecosystem of Greece in a way that was not just trying to take from it, but actually to give back to it. And I think that was the thing that I remembered most from the team, that they were really trying to build an environment that was the environment that they wanted to work in, not just in Nokia, but at a country level. And that was really what inspired me to come to Greece to have that visit, because it really was around this idea of can I help to actually extend their reach at some level. And I think to go back to your question about, what to do or how to think or how to grow, the one thing that I've sort of learned over the years is that the key is really collecting capabilities, is the way I like to say it, which means that trying to find things that you know how to do, that are a skill that you can build. And those skills, you don't often know exactly when you're going to use them. But my experience is you always do, right? So you learn how to program a website, or you learn how to do a certain thing in mathematics, or how to write a paper, or edit things in Adobe Illustrator. All of those are skills. And as you sort of go through life, find the opportunity and the problems that actually allow you to build new skills, understand new things. Because what you will find is that you become more and more valuable. So from a career perspective, it's great. But you also have many, many new perspectives that allow you to solve problems in ways that other people might not see, right? The thing I often say is you never want to send an electrical engineer to solve an electrical engineering problem. And the key there is the reason they're going to solve it in the same way every other electrical engineer does.
That's true.
But if you take a biologist or a mathematician or an economist and have them try to solve an electrical engineering problem, they're going to come at it from a perspective that's entirely different.
The box thinking, in other words.
Exactly. So finding and solving problems in ways that maybe are not the standard way of solving it, but might open up new disruptive solutions. And from a lab's perspective, that's the kind of thing that we're going after. How can we solve those new ways of solving problems that really open up the environment and allow us to do things we couldn't do before?
That's so interesting. Very inspiring words, and mentorship-wise, very interesting stuff that you're bringing into the table, Chris. Thank you so much. And I guess the speech is what everybody's looking forward to on the December 15th. Tell us a few teaser points about your speech there. What are you going to talk to us about?
So what I'm going to talk about is really where we are right now from a human perspective. And the human perspective is that the challenges that are ahead of us have a couple of different components. One is scale. So we're being asked to solve problems that are not just local, they're global. Climate change, COVID, the kinds of social and technical problems that need to be solved not just for one country, one enterprise, one company, but for everybody. And solved not just in a generic way, but personalized. So the scale is critical for these problems. The second is the complexity piece. So these aren't simple problems, right? These are hard problems that have many, many components. And how we actually build these systems of many components and pull those pieces together to solve problems at scale is critically important. So complexity, scale, and the product of complexity and scale is actually resources, right? It's really easy to do a hard problem once, or really easy to do an easy problem many times. And that's the resources that are necessary to solve those problems. And we're, reflecting on climate change, reflecting on the sort of growth and need for AI systems, automation, and those things really is driving us to understand the resources that we apply to those in order to gain the world that we all want to live in. So I'm going to talk a little bit about scale, complexity, and resources, and how the kinds of innovations that we work on in the labs allow us to effectively reduce the scale of a problem or reduce the complexity of a problem, and allow us to do things that might have cost too much money, too much resources now, in a way that actually is reasonable with respect to the resources we want to apply to these problems. So hopefully it'll be a fun talk. It's one that I really like thinking about this because in many of these talks, if you frame the problem, right, you build that framework to think about it, it becomes a very interesting, not just talk, but a discussion. And I think opening up that opportunity for discussion is something I'd really like to do.
Wow, really excited waiting for this talk. So thank you so much for your time here today, Chris. We really appreciate it. And we're definitely looking forward to your speech on the 15th. See you all guys there on the 15th during the Open Conf event. Take care.
I can't wait as well.